Impossible.
Possible? Oh, okay. I haven't heard him.
All right, we're live, everyone. This is Him with Friends Right, protecting families, protecting the bag. We got Mike here. He's been with us for from very near the beginning, I say, for
Pretty
several years
much.
now. So thank you so much for hanging in there. I know there's some rough times, there's some depressing times, and we're just chugging along. And we've been at this for quite a while. So thanks, Mike, to finally talk to you here. And we're just gonna we don't have any topics to talk about, but we just throw stuff out there and see how we're doing. Maybe share a little bit about your background, like who you are and um, what you do and passions and whatever.
Yeah. I've been kind of dabbling in the stock market for years and different things here and there. My grandpa kind of got me into it uh, and kind of started looking at crypto. And then I got into Market Cipher. And it works, but it's not as easy as what it looks. Uh, Crypto Face makes it look very simple and easy.
Hmm.
He says he has a very high people make profit, but I would like to know how many people actually are in the whale crew that are saying, "Oh yeah, I'm making tons of profit," you know.
Hmm.
And so yeah, that's kind of how I got into crypto, and then I can't remember how I found you. Maybe it was a YouTube video, and I was like, "Oh, that'd be nice just to have income coming in all the time." Until you figure out there's a lot more to it than that.
Hmm.
I think we found kind of a sweet spot uh, to make low percentage.
Hmm.
But just like this week, I seen they had that 7 day challenge, and uh, I told you I did like 75% in a week manually trading, not
Yeah.
on the bot, and I was 511 out of
Hmm.
15,000 people,
Uh-huh.
but number one was
Hmm.
1,900%.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're looking at that towards the AI
Hmm.
part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do programming work for the dye industry for automotive, and I've done that for probably 18, 20 years now, and I've done that basically my whole life.
Hmm. Well,
Um,
you do CAD, right? Or is it more
yeah,
programming?
yep, yep.
Okay.
Uh, I do it um, in CATIA software, NX. There's all kinds of them, but those are the two main ones. But um, yeah, and yep, and I have a daughter, adopted from birth, and and I have a wife, and that's about it.
How old's your daughter?
Three.
3. Okay. When do you plan on telling her, or if ever?
We actually told her right along
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
because we figured it's better to let them know right away than to resent you.
Hmm.
They might resent you no matter what, but
Hmm.
we figure it's better to
Yeah. Be truthful
uh,
about it. Huh?
be truthful, and maybe they'll hopefully understand.
Okay. So, do you think she understands at her age right now, or she's like, "Oh, okay, whatever."
No, she says I was adopted, but no, I don't think she understands.
Hmm. Okay.
But yeah, it's going to be a tough one to deal with.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, but that was through going through DHS,
Hmm.
and man, if you ever do that,
Yeah, we had a friend
man,
that
that's going
got
to be
adopted
tough.
like at birth, like her mom's a meth addict or something, and she was like way under birth, way under weight, I guess.
Yep,
And yeah, it was a whole ordeal. The parents wouldn't want to show up. They didn't care about the kid, and they're like, "Dude, let me
yep,
have him." And he's like, The boyfriend showed up, and he didn't care for a while, and then I think eventually they finally made it official. But it was like a year or two process just to
Yeah,
make it efficient.
yeah. Ours was close to about 2.5 years because they give them a year, and then they can make progress. They can make progress right at the very end, and they give them almost another year,
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes to the court process where they you know get they basically the judge forces their rights away, and then after that they if the judge rules, yeah, they're not turning their life around. Now they can appeal it to the appeals court.
Mm-hmm.
And then if the appeals court says, yep, the judge is right, they can take it to the state Supreme Court even.
Oh. Hmm.
But he wanted to go to there, but it's like big money, I guess, to go there.
Mm-hmm.
And it, 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 it's not as easy as you might think.
Yeah.
It's
Well, you
almost
got.
worth spending the 20 or 30,000,
Uh-huh.
which is to me is ridiculous. If they
Mhm.
say there's kids to adopt, and why you got to spend cost so much to adopt them, you know?
Yeah, it's like you're already helping them out, right? And it's like, well, you gotta
Yeah.
dump more to. Yeah. Well, I guess you were showing me a little bit about Market Cipher earlier, and I think
Yep.
I did crypto spaces stuff for a while, and got the year, and I was like, dude, like you got to check every single time frame, check the 4 hour, the 1 day, and kind of like look at it. But then it's kind of like I don't know, it's like a slow delayed process where it's kind of like you're flying a plane. You kind of put an input in, and then
Yep.
like sometimes you overcorrect kind of thing, and you're like, ah. So when I was trying it, I was like, okay, so when it clips, I jump in, and then like now I gotta wait like 2 hours, and I have kids crawling on my shoulders. Like I can't babysit this, So
Well,
uh,
and you almost want to constantly check it because it's so volatile. Even at 10x leverage or 5x leverage, it's like sometimes you you never know.
yeah, yeah. So yeah. So I mean, I thought about maybe later on because I think my program right now is tying in all the trading view indicators like the MAs and whatever else. So maybe if that lifetime deal is still up there, I might pick it up later, or maybe just do it now. I don't know, and then just tie it in, and we'll see. But I don't know. I haven't seen the product yet. He just said he's working on it. So he set up the server, and that's all I know. So and then I haven't heard from him for a couple weeks already. So I'm sure he ran into some problems or something on it,
What
and that's kind of where we're at.
what is his whole idea, or have you been talking to him? Like, are you gonna try different indicators or just like certain ones and run it? And
Well, right now he's setting up the server just to make the connections, and then once that's connected, I think you can pick whatever indicator that TradingView provides and just throw it in there. So if you want some custom ones, you could probably, as long as you can program it in TradingView, I would think that you would be able to bring it in. So I would say maybe even in Market Cipher, you could probably bring it in too. And then all of this is just raw data, and then you can just the AI will say, okay, all this stuff's coming in. What do I do with it, right? So it's gonna have to more IO, kind of like pick and choose what works and evolve. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, dump it. And then it'll be a lot of testing to kind of zero in on a neural network that actually performs. So we're gonna have to grow it or train it, you would say. And then
well, that's what I was wondering when you could pick. You said you could pick any one, but how do you do that and train it at the same time? You have to kind of have one or the other, don't you? Or not really?
well, I would say like it's more like okay, let's just give the AI, moving average, or let's give them Bollinger Bands, or let's give them price motion, and then that's all you get, kind of thing. And I think, of course, you could probably throw a bunch at it, but all it takes is probably more computer resources to crunch through them all. So I think that's the only limitation is the CPU time. And if you just overload it with so much data and it can't crunch through it fast enough, then it might have a delay or something. So maybe we'll start with a few indicators. Just say, hey, these are the common ones. Maybe do some, your MAs that seems to be practical, and um, I don't know whatever else you want to throw at it.
Well, like we've always talked in the past, we always are kind of under the impression sometimes simpler is better.
Hmm.
Not too complicated or.
Hmm. Yeah. So I was watching that pump last night, and with the acceleration not reversed, kind of know how you normally have it. It
Yeah.
kept, even though it pumped up, and even though I was trying to mark it in, it kept marking in with a short all the way up. And
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, and I was like, huh. So if we were limiting in, we would totally be screwed right now. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kept missing it, but it was good because it needed the market in. It was kind of like a confirmation that it needs to go in with it.
Mm.
And so I reversed it for trend. So I'm testing that now and see if it pumps again. Then we can jump in on it. And I put like a large time frame of 1440, small time frame of 15 minutes. Because once the pump's done and it drops down, then usually it starts to go sideways after that. Because it seems like Bitcoins are always like more like this, and it does a straight line and then sideways.
Yeah.
So it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. That's getting more. It's getting less, but for the longest time, yeah, it was straight line and then sideways, and now
No.
sometimes you're seeing it kind of drift upwards.
Hmm.
There's not as many pumps unless there's like really newsworthy where a company bought so many shares or so many coins,
Hmm.
uh, and sometimes I wonder too. All these pumps is it somebody buying a couple $1 million worth, and is that why it comes back down? You know,
Um.
because they're basically marketing into Coinbase and buying you know all those coins.
Yeah. Basically, I guess I don't know. I'm sure there's some
Sometimes
layer.
it's sustained too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this year with all this stimulus stuff, I think it's probably gonna stay for a while. You think it's gonna go to 350 or something? That's what I hear. 350K.
Uh, I think it depends on what the stock market does,
Yeah.
because everybody's don't follow the stock market. Well,
Hmm.
look what it did in March.
Hmm.
What happens is people get big companies get margin calls, and they
Hmm.
got to sell whatever they can to pay for those margin calls.
Hmm.
It's same way with gold and silver when it dumps when the stock market does, because people are selling what they can sell to pay for margin calls.
Hmm.
Kind of
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Well, you know how like the GameStop stuff, I've been kind of studying that where like silver and gold, like where there's so many short orders placed as a wall above it, so that it kind of artificially suppresses the price. And so if they're leveraging that up, and there's so much money is just hanging there, it's gonna take a lot to really buy it. So I don't know if they're suppressing it so much, but the big players are also buying silver too. So that I don't know if they're just accumulating or whatever. But then that's why GameStop didn't want to challenge that because it'll be helping the big guys too.
Well, I haven't, actually looked into it real deep. From what I've understood, that they were, I can't remember what it's called, but they're naked short selling
Hmm.
GameStop without even being able to produce shares.
Yeah, they're not
Uh,
filling it. Yeah.
yeah, there was more shares shorted than there could ever been, and that's
Hmm.
why. And when I first got into the stock market, I don't know if you've ever heard of it called pink sheets.
Hmm.
They're basically penny stocks,
Okay.
and they do it all the time on those, and they naked short sell
Mm.
because they can move those hundreds of percent in hours.
Hmm.
It's like crypto, but for the stock market.
And so yeah, it just make it totally like if you got the money to nick it short it, not fill on it, and then push the price down, and then get out of it at the low, right? And take that
Hmm.
profit. And basically it devastates companies and grandma and
Well, yeah, well, and it's not, in a way, it's not all those people's faults, because just think. unless there really is coercion where they're saying, oh, hey, I'm going to short this, you short this, and you short this. Or it could be a bunch of hedge funds like, oh, well, GameStop's never coming back. You can just download the videos, and they're all thinking, oh, let's all short it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just piles on, piles on. So it could be either one, really.
So, have you followed that? Like, did they finally win? The GameStop people at the Reddit?
Uh, well, people is like, oh yeah, the little guy's gonna win, but what's gonna end up happening is the big guy's gonna come out scot free, lose a little bit of money, and the
The
little
bail.
guy's gonna go to jail probably. It
Yeah.
seems to happen.
Mm.
It's not, it's um, I don't even know what you want to call it. It's uh, not right, that's for sure.
Mm.
You're taking advantage just as much as them, but everybody's like, oh, the little guy's making money, but I bet you one hedge fund lost and hundreds won.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's I think what was it? Can't remember what hedge fund it was, but they basically another hedge fund gave them money to cover the margin
Mm.
to not go broke, basically.
Okay.
But there was something just recently too with a big bank where some hedge fund, I can't remember what it was now, uh, was way too leveraged, and the bank has like a $10 billion loss.
Hmm.
I'd have to look it up, but um, yeah, it
Yeah.
just recently happened too. Over leveraged.
And then, well, usually the government would just jump in and bail them out because they can't allow that. Because then
Well,
the banks
yeah,
that are at risk too, right? Because they're all leveraged with them or something there.
that's what happened to Bear Stearns
Mm-hmm.
and AIG.
Mm-hmm.
AIG didn't really get bailed out, but it was kind of like a controlled bankruptcy almost, kind of like when GM and Chrysler
Mm-hmm.
went bankrupt. It was I don't know if they really call it a bankruptcy, but some kind of controlled bankruptcy where they put all the bad assets in one company and all the good, and
Mm-hmm.
that was to save pensions and basically screw shareholders.
So that in that movie, the Big Short, if that
Yeah.
guy never bet against the real estate market, that would just mean that the 600 billion bailout would have been less, maybe 300 billion or something, or
To me, I don't think it would have made a difference
would make it.
uh, on that level because wasn't he betting against CDOs or something? 'Cause I don't think housing prices would have went down any more or less because people were shorting uh, basically these CDOs. They were basically they took um, subprime. Basically, they took good assets and put crappy assets in with it, and then graded it as grade A assets,
Mm,
and they sold it everywhere.
okay.
So basically, you're there's I don't know what the percentage was, but let's say it was 30% good stuff and 70% bad stuff in there. But
Mm,
then you it's kind of I like to use this phrase: liars figures and figures lie.
mm, okay.
You can make anything sound good or bad
Hmm.
depending how you word it and how you put things together.
Hmm. Yeah.
But it could have affected it. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it probably would have. Well, I think it would probably minimize the loss if the banks didn't take that bad bet.
The
And
the
then,
only reason I say it don't affect it because that market is so large.
mhm,
I mean it has to be trillions upon trillions of dollars.
mhm.
You know.
Yeah, yeah, and then I think the only reason why it popped was because of the subprime was ballooned, right? Like if that subprime
Yeah,
never ballooned, they would have kept
like kind of
going.
right now.
Yeah. Or they're not doing subprimes anymore, but like, real estate is just popping around because of low interest
Oh,
rates.
it's freaking nuts.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's going crazy.
Yeah. I heard like the listed price is the starting price. Everyone's
Yeah,
been like 30K above asking, like, or more.
but they just had a house just recently. It had like 500 offers. It was put on the market Friday night, and they looked at them Monday morning. They were like 500. It was some crazy number.
Yeah.
I think it was in California, but it
No,
was. I think it
yeah.
was listed for like 300,000, and I think their highest one was 600 or something.
600K?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Really?
it's nuts.
It's nuts.
But that's what you get when you have zero um, uh, availability, and people are moving out of the cities.
Hmm.
They
Yep.
don't like to be controlled.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
know,
we got some friends that are moving to Texas too, and they're trying to find houses, but they're always outbid, and they're having a really hard time.
even if you want to rent a house, you can't even find it. It's
Yeah.
it's everywhere too. It's not just it's just not one state or another, or
Hmm.
up north or up down south. It's everywhere.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, I guess the hyperinflation is happening, but it's happening in real estate. Well, it's always been happening in real estate because that's where it's going.
Yeah, I never understood. It's really hard to predict hyperinflation, uh, and I think the biggest part is because of the dollar is the world reserve currency.
Hmm.
You
Um,
know,
well, based on that milkshake theory, um,
hmm
the reason why the dollar hasn't really hyperinflated into like goods and services like product milk and eggs and whatever, um, mainly because of our military is able to create that demand overseas. So if we
petrodollar.
yeah, if we use our military and you say, hey, you don't use our dollar or else, then they got to use our dollar, and that creates demand or that carrot that they would have to pay back in that, right? If you're in Argentina and you print your dollar and you don't have the military to back that up, then you hyperinflate your own Argentinian dollar and you collapse your economy. So the biggest thing to watch is our military. If our military starts to fail and lose wars, then our dollar is going down with it because they can't enforce another country to use it anymore.
It's Bitcoin is a store of value, but it isn't. There's um, it's just as valuable as somebody's worth willing to pay for it.
Yeah. Well, just like the dollar is valuable in the sense because it's paired with the marketplace. You can use that wherever
Yeah,
you go. So, what I'd say national security would be if Bitcoin had its own unregulated, decentralized marketplace, then it's kind of game over. Then people will stay in Bitcoin, trade in Bitcoin with goods and services in Bitcoin, right? And no one can stop it other than shutting down the entire world's internet kind of thing. So if that day comes, they'll be like, wow.
well,
and
it's good to have physical possessions.
Mhm. Yeah,
Even
well,
anything.
yeah, and, there are marketplaces for that right now, but they're all like, it's the dark web kind of stuff and dark web goods and services and whatever, So they try to shut it down as quickly as possible if they see that. But that's, it enables you to transact whatever if you compare those two things together.
Um, so do you want to talk about the history of the bot at all,
The history of
or
what? Oh, the bot?
the bot? Yeah.
Um, well, I started with the auto tuner with the Haas Online. I don't
So
know.
yeah, I'd like you to explain that because I never really understood exactly how all that worked.
Let's see. Let me see here. Let me go to Haas Online and see if let me share my screen here. Okay, let me share.
Is this gonna go on YouTube also, or?
Uh, yeah, oh yeah, this it's all live on YouTube right now.
Oh, it is. Okay,
Yeah. Let me move my
cool.
screen over here. Okay, share. All right, there's my screen. It's my VPS. All right, so I was using Haws Online, and what I mainly used was uh, the Mad Hatter bot. I don't know if they have a thing here, crypto trading bots. So in a sense, you can kind of create your own stuff, but since I didn't really know how to use their trading bot, I was like, oh, I just used a pre-built trading bot, and it was the Mad Hatter, and this is the one. And so this one was basically an intersection of Bollinger Bands, RSI, and MACD right here, Bollinger Bands. So whenever these indicators align, it will do stuff. But at the same time, when you're using it, I don't know, you could zoom in. There's settings for your RSI and MACD. Let's try to get a zoomed in version of this. Looks like you can't do it.
So it's kind of like a pre-built bot, and you just kind of like what we have right now, but
Yeah,
more
yeah,
simpler.
yeah, yeah. So you basically have your RSI settings, your MACD, and that's like how much time frame do you want to use for your RSI, how much time frame do you want to use for MACD, and then your RSI percentages. What's your the upper lower levels, and then you kind of like have to tweak these constantly to trade, and and so I was like, okay, but we gotta keep tweaking it. It'll work one day, and then the next day it won't work anymore, right? And so I was like, all right, so let's just constantly tweak this every single hour. So I started doing that for a while, and there's some good days, some good bad days, and then all of a sudden I was like, hey, well, what about stop losses? What about like other things? And so I couldn't control all that, and then I was like, all right, so maybe I'll just start doing my own. Okay. But now they've kind of come up with their own drag and drop programming, which is this stuff where you can like drag your entries, whatever, and then whatever happens, it'll flow through and decide and do stuff. So I was kind of part of their beta tester for a while, doing this stuff, and it's a whole new development. I mean, thinking about like how long it took us to get to where we are today, you're kind of starting from scratch again, and kind of taking a few years to kind of clean up what you have to make something that works. But at least you can drag and drop this until it works. So, and I kind of thought it'd be nice for also to create something like this, but the programming uh, capability that's here is pretty intense. But they've achieved it, and I think if they created a marketplace where they can actually license out this code or whatever, might be good for them. But that's another idea for them. Um, so yeah, so then I started doing that, and then after a while, it's just like what, I can actually connect straight to Bybit now. So why not start doing that? And I kind of read some books about what's it called? Turn back here about like it was option trading or something like that, where it was guy by this guy named Courtney Smith, where he would actually do and follow the breakouts. And it didn't really work for crypto because crypto it'll just tap you in and then go the other direction. Um, but he'll basically kind of watch the crypto Bollinger Bands and he'll kind of follow this channel. And so it breaks out of this, whatever the 2 day or 1 week channel, then that's where you mark it in and take off with it. Um, so I was like, all right, well, if that's the case, then that's kind of like what I'll try to do. So I started creating the charts from it. So you mark it in and take the limit order. And of course, it didn't apply at first when we first started it. It was just constantly, especially when it's sideways, it would just market you in and making you long the top and short the bottoms. And so that didn't work out either, right? So then we start limiting in and out, working sideways. And so as of now, my current setting can limit in, limit out, and sideways. But when it starts to break out, then we'll mark it in and limit out on that. Um, Let me see. I was going to show you a little bit of what it's doing right now.
I was just checking my phone. It don't look like you're live on YouTube.
Is it live? Is it working?
Not on YouTube. It isn't.
Oh well. If it
Yeah.
doesn't, No
Okay,
worries.
I didn't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I think I end call and tag button. I don't know if it's gonna record and then publish later.
Okay, it might, yeah.
But well, I guess it should be live, so I guess it's not working the way it's supposed to. But no worries, I'm not too concerned. As long as we have a good conversation, good as well,
Yeah.
good chat, it's all good. All right, so let me show you my screen then, and let me see here. There you go. Sure. All right, cool. There it is. Oh, this is my other bot. I have a hard time finding my remote desktop sometimes because it hides
Yeah.
on the very bottom taskbar.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
all right. So this is my limit in, limit out, and sideways, and it will mark in and mark it out. Okay, so I'll actually hold this a little longer now. I can use 30% wallet because my loss is only 1%. Because it'll actually just get me out if it turns on me 1% of my wallet. Um, Currently, this is probably negative 0.5%, half a percent in the red. Let's see here. Yeah, so you see my losses are, there's some tiny ones, but it'll take actually a little bigger greens. And then if it does take off against me like pretty fast, it'll cut me off at 1%. So 38%. So guess let me share the settings here. Um, Pull the other one out. All right, cool. Is that clear for you, or is it kind of fuzzy?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. All right. So um, when my unrealized is like you know, if it's slower, I'll hold it a little longer. But when it starts to like, the price action starts to die out, then I'll kind of lower it. And then once this kicks in, the unrealized, it'll kick in and take profit right here. So here, as soon as it hits a 0.5% of my wallet, then I kick on the take profit immediately right here. Okay. And if it goes below 1%, then I'll go ahead and just take the loss immediately too.
Yeah, that's probably one of our um, hardest things to deal with on this bot is how long to hold it. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's some times where it's like, oh, thank God it took profit. And then there's other times it's like,
Uh,
why did you take profit? But like I've told you for a long time, the bot is primarily only uh,
Short term.
based off price motion, and it's really short term. But you'd have to add like almost like you said, like AI.
Yeah. And so then where's my sideways setting here? So my sideways down and up. So I actually trade them all now. I just set these to false. So I trade uptrend and downtrend sideways. I'm testing it right now. I have one where I've actually saved it. So I use my GitHub here. It kind of helps me track things. Let's see here. This is my
Yeah,
GitHub. So
I
I just
save all my settings, but it's like I don't label them very good.
yeah.
It,
So yeah, download this. Just go to GitHub Desktop, and you don't actually have to subscribe or pay for anything. It just stores on your computer,
oh, really?
and you could
That's
just kind of like, hey, here's my commit. I made 3.6% overnight, and then as you change it, you're like, oh shoot, I went too far. I need to go back to where it worked,
yeah.
and you can see everything that's changed and what's happened here between the new and the old. And then you can put a description too, I believe. Yeah, so there's a description there, 3.7%, and then I don't think I added a description there. So I changed the time frame, what I did, uh, whatever. So here I made 4%, but then I already made 3.6. But then even though I traded trend up and trend down with no high no HLNT whatever high low no trade zone, it only got me a little 0.04, but it took me longer. So I should have cut it off right here and just be done with it. And all this extra effort, I mean, I made a little more, but I took more risks, and it actually made up to 4.6%, and then ended up giving that 0.6% back. So I got pretty close to 5 with 10% wallet. And so this is my baseline right here. This is where I would go back to and just run that on my big account if it stays stable. But right now I'm just kind of like playing with it, just testing stuff.
I'm
But anyways,
I've been having pretty consistent results with. I just got a simple 5 minute with like a 0.043 percentage
mhm,
for Excel, and it's doing decent. Probably doing anywhere between 30 and 5%.
okay,
But I haven't been running it all the time either because during the day, if I see something that presents itself, I've been manually trading.
yeah,
So I can't say it's for sure.
yeah, you might get
Uh,
caught in it. I noticed that when the data was doing well, like if it can hit its goal before lunchtime, Central Time, then just take it from that point. Because if I kept going, it'll eventually get caught. So I don't know. There's this time thing where it's consistent, and I kind of don't like using the time because sometimes the time isn't consistent, like the hours,
yeah,
you know. But it's just sometimes
there
you know these patterns.
there are definitely times. I mean, you can even look it up. You know, like basically when the stock market opens, when Bitcoin ends the day,
Mhm.
certain different times at night, and I think that's from different countries coming online for the day too.
Yeah. So it's just oh, I do notice that the 9 and 10 hour of UTC seems to be pretty consistent. So
Yeah, if you look really into it, it's like, oh, there's like 3 hours of the day that it's not very, very volatile.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Like when I seen that pump this morning, I looked at my bot. I was like, oh, thank God I didn't get in.
Yeah.
That's all I thought.
I was like, wow.
Because you never know when it's going to keep going. That's the
Yeah, you don't know.
biggest issue I find.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to share my screen
Okay.
on that trading view thing I showed you earlier.
All right. All right. So yeah, show us how you make your own market safer.
Yeah, I can. And you can save it right to your own script and everything. So basically, what I've noticed, if you're like, let's say you're gonna get along, if we could, I know this sounds more simpler than it actually is, but if we can say, oh, let's calculate the 21 MA on a 3 minute time frame, and as long as it stays, let's say, above, don't go below it like maybe 1%. Just stay in the trade. Stay in the trade. Stay in this trade. Stay in the trade. Stay in the trade. Probably get out.
Okay.
I know I'm making it sound really simple, but we can go back in other times where this actually works too. So right here, pump, pump, pump. You might have got out here, but still you got what, 80% of the pump.
Okay.
Now this
So,
is only if you were already in a trade or something too, you
mhm.
know. And it kind of works on a downtrend too. Like here you see it, but not as much here.
So where would it not work?
Probably sideways.
Sideways?
Yeah, because it's going in and out of it all the time.
Okay. So
See,
then
look,
when
look at
chicken,
this. Look at
uh,
this downtrend. I mean, it really was apparent on that one.
mhm.
And this would be just for, how long to hold it. Because I don't know for sure, but there's probably a lot of bots using basically the 21. You've probably heard of it. 21-day moving average is, yeah. If you're doing a daily chart, you're supposed to buy above it, sell below it in the stock market. And I think this is kind of the same thing. And you can, if you go on the 5 minute too, and maybe a 5 minute's better. Um, so you didn't even touch on this 5 minute until it broke below. And this is the 21 on the 5 minute. And if we go back in time, boom, you're basically done. Retest, boom, done. And some of these probably could get you.
Hmm.
Same here.
Okay.
But like in the big, I don't know if we can go back to the really, yeah, here's a downtrend. And the really big pump, I don't know if we can go back that far. You see that big downtrend there. But you see, this is where it won't work. It'd be hard to,
Hmm.
you might still be able to still have profit, you just not be holding it. See right here, it looks like it failed a little bit. Little blip down, then it kept going.
So you just got to be able to detect these sideways and then when it's breaking out.
I know it's easy to go back in the past, like, oh yeah, that definitely works, but predicting the future isn't
Hmm.
as simple.
Yeah, I think if we shorten the time frame, that might help with you know detecting that earlier.
See,
But
you see this 15 minute
mhm.
could even come up with, say, if it's so much above 15 minute 21, market rate in, hold on to it until it touches it again.
Yeah. So you just basically wait out the sideways or do both or whatever.
Yeah, it's more of a like a indication of how long to hold it.
Hmm.
You know, maybe a 15 minute might be easier, where as soon as it touch it, you're out. See, the 15 minute didn't even touch it all the way down here.
Okay.
So, like I said, it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But
So you would take off the take profit on entry and just open that up, or you want to leave it on there still?
um, what do you mean, like take profit on entry?
So as soon as we enter, we set the take profit.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We won't have one.
You leave that off. Okay.
Yeah. Did you see that trailing stop video I posted the other day?
Yeah, I saw that one, and yeah, Bybit has a trailing stop that we could add, but yeah, it
I,
makes sense when it's trailing when it's running up. It's just knowing when it's going to do that.
yeah, I know that's easier said than done, and I think you're right that you could get stopped out faster.
Hmm.
But I just thought it was kind of cool if you were in like a big pump that it would follow that fast.
Hmm.
You know. And the only reason I brought it up because it'd be one less thing the bot would have to do, but I don't
Mm.
know how well it would work.
Well, yeah, of in practicality of the trailing stuff, when I trail too fast, too tight, you usually get stopped out before it takes off on you. And so then supposedly the reason why I created the trailing thing was so that it could kind of delay it, right, and kind of slow it down a little bit. So it gives it some room for the volatility to, do its thing and not stop you out and take off ahead of you. Um, so that's why I put the delays um, in practicality. So it seems like it's more like a defensive move rather than a offensive take profit move, where it's like, okay, I took it right there, but then it tapped you out and then it just took off more, or it could have went down, but yeah, I don't know. So these are tough calls these days sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think we're the way the bot is now. And I think we talked about this. It's to the point of where
Yeah, AI.
we can't do anymore.
Could do
Yeah, I mean,
nothing else I can do. Yeah. So I'm just like,
and
what do I do now? Do I read a book or
yeah,
listen to programming, listen to Python? I don't know what else to do.
oh, do stuff around the house. Take care of that RV you got.
Take care of the REs, spend more time with my wife, and take the kids
More B and
out.
B.
More,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're thinking about going to the beach and maybe take a little RV trip. And yes, wait for our program to do its thing. So, but I don't know. I've been playing with that new scenario. I think I'm starting to like that scenario. Um, Maybe a couple more days, I'll post it up, or if you want, I can drop it in. You can
So
try it.
what makes it decide to market in?
The trend, will let it decide. So
So it's not going off price motion. Then.
it is still no, yeah, it's going off the time frame of the 1 day. So I think at first I had a 1440 for big time frame, and then the 180 for small time frame, and then I
Okay.
changed it because it seems like it kind of reacts a little slow. So now I changed it to 360 for large time frame and 15 minutes for small. So it's a little more
Okay.
reactive to the trend. And I feel like with all this volatility, we kind of might need to react a little faster. So I'm testing that now, just kind of deciding which time frame we need to go at with. But I'm also maybe thinking maybe to auto adjust that with the price action. I don't know, like if the price action a certain way, maybe we need to look big, look small. I don't know. So.
So on your AI, is the programmer even going to use price motion really? If he's going to use the indicator trading view?
I gave him the equations to create it, so I mean, it could if we want to.
Yeah.
So maybe for sideways, we'll use price motion, and then when it takes off, we'll switch to MA or whatever. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the AI is there for to try to figure that stuff out, right?
Yep.
So how is it? Is it still in the aspects of where it just gets learned on one central computer and then that computer will push it out, or how is it gonna eventually work? Or not sure yet.
Okay. The way it's supposed to work is that it's on a kind of a cluster, and it's just like Amazon where you could do load balancing. You could clone and spin off more computers to kind of work together. So it has the ability to do that, and depending on how much we want to add, we can grow the CPU resources dynamically, especially if there's more computers connecting to it. Now, there's supposed to be a central hub, and then so let's say your computer and then my computer, a network of computers can then talk with that central server, and we can compute stuff, but also update the database. So in a sense, the server hosts the database, and then the computers that are hooked up to it or the members will then do the work and push it off. So maybe I'll take on the moving average indicator. You could take the price motion indicator and start updating that, and then from that point on, um, I'm not sure how the AI is gonna supposed to run, whether it runs on my computer, and then we share it to them. Cause so I'm gonna back up a little bit. You know how like social media, right? Like YouTube, and we're like sharing stuff on YouTube, right? So it's kind of like my neurons sharing information into your neurons on YouTube, and we're teaching each other stuff. So I'm kind of creating that for AI. If you kind of think about it that way, where I have maybe a neuron here and I know everything about physics. And then you have a neuron that knows everything about navigation. And another neuron over here that knows about rocketry and whatever. And then this guy says, hey, I have a mission and I want to go to Mars. And so I'll go together to the social media network and say, hey, you do the rocket part, you do the navigation, you do this part, and we're going to put this together and we're going to go to Mars, kind of thing. So then you don't have to, and so once I kind of figure like, hey, if we solve physics and we solve this, we don't actually need to go to school anymore, right? It's like we have the AI to say, hey, I throw whatever physics stuff at you, you just give me the answer, and whatever else, and then we just kind of like have this centralized computer of engineers in a sense putting things together. And you kind of think about like how we build rockets and airplanes. We all have different neurons with different specialties, physics, materials, rocketry, chemistry, and we all put those brains together to make a rocket ship that would go somewhere, right? So it's kind of like that, but kind of decentralizing, not decentralized, but like splitting off the neuron work, and we each doing our own part and putting it together into one big piece. So
The thing I wondered, if it was more going to be web based than have to have a server for it even.
um, yeah, there's a web-based kind of like management, I'd say, and then but it has the ability to then connect with individual computers and servers and VPSs and kind of publish to one central web-based server.
But so once it learns all that, where do you go from there? Does
Like,
that server push out what is good to those other computers, or
yeah, well, I would kind of consider it like a centralized YouTube where
Mhm.
you guys need something, you come to my YouTube server and that has a bunch of neurons that does whatever, and say, hey, I need some tracer Bybit, and there you go. Here's just your buy and sell signals. And
yeah, yeah? The only thing is just what I don't understand. All these computers are sending out uh, all the things that worked and didn't work. How it's gonna actually come back and uh, change the settings on that server to even though it's telling stuff that didn't work. How the data is going to come back and forth, back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Like, um,
oh, okay. All right, so my I think this is where you're going. Well, you know how like we're chatting on Facebook, right? I type
yeah,
something, you see what I'm typing. I like it,
okay,
you like it. So it's kind of like syncing together,
okay,
like
okay.
instantaneously what's
I
going on.
see.
So
That makes more sense.
makes more sense. So it's kind of like so it's basically WebSocket talking to each other rather than making calls and it's so slow and whatever. I send a request, it comes back. It's just I did something, I like the button, everybody sees it, everyone knows what's going on. So yeah, so if I manage the moving average, I'm like, hey, okay, buy, 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 and then sell. Everyone sees that connected with whatever other price motion signals, and everyone sees all that dynamically, and then you can either have a central AI that picks off like, hey, that looks useful. I'll use that. I'll use that. That didn't work. I'll skip that. Whatever. So,
Yeah, it was real interesting to see that video that you posted about, you know, like the AI playing pool.
yeah.
That was pretty crazy. I don't know how many, it took like 100 games, but now it can play it perfectly.
Yeah.
It's like how that's what we need.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. Um, yeah, it's just like here's the data, and I'm not teaching you how to play it. You just go make money. That's it. You do whatever you need to do. So,
Also, I was gonna Where's that link to that? I just put it in the chat to that video on building that momentum wave indicator.
Okay, cool.
But I don't use the money flow because I don't think it's anywhere near what his is. But it just kind of gives you another way of building your own and having it uh, basically work.
So you
He
guys
has you
do.
edit a couple things.
Okay, so he gives you the way. He teaches you how to do money flow also, or
Yeah, but it's not anywhere near what uh, the real one
okay.
is.
So what is the money flow? Is it? I mean, is there some certain numbers that we don't see that they have or something?
It's
Or
there is a money flow indicator, but I think it's has other things in it, and it's smoothed out, like extremely smoothed out
mhm.
somehow. I don't know. It's trading views. I think it's Pine Script or something.
Okay.
But in the video, I don't know if you can play it on here or not. They get
Yeah, I can play it.
get all. I don't know if what their rules are, for playing videos and stuff. But
Oh, from another video? Oh, I don't know.
yeah,
I can try it here.
it's it just kind of gives you a general
Okay.
um, how to build it. There's a little editing you got to do, but it's not terrible.
Okay. Then once you build it, can you just like share it or
Yeah,
you,
yeah. I don't know. I have to look. I bet
can you
you
like
can share it.
copy and paste it and like
Let's
did he
see.
did he share it?
Let me see. Um, you probably have to have like a high subscription with TradingView. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Um, I don't even know how you do share 'em.
Hey, he's got oh wait, that's Market Cipher, huh? Okay.
It's not exactly like it, but it's the moment. I think the momentum waves are exactly like it. Yeah, I can't figure out how to share it.
Okay.
There's probably somewhere to go,
Alright. Cool.
but yeah, that's money flow right there on that bottom line. We don't integrate it with
Alright.
the actual momentum waves.
Okay. Alright. I'll look into it sometime.
Yeah, it's but don't you have like a lifetime with him or
Uh
no?
no, I bought a
Oh,
year when he first came out with it, I was like, hey, I thought I bought a lifetime. He's like, no, I never offered it till now. I was like, well, I paid the same price. Well, whatever. I should have waited, I guess.
it's come down significant. I think it's like $500 now. So
For lifetime?
no, like 1,500 for lifetime, but five
Oh,
hundred for a year. When I think I bought it was like 1,000.
oh, yeah. I think I paid 500 a year when it first came out.
I mean, seems to work better when there's like a bull trend.
Hmm.
When it's just going sideways, I think it's tough to use. And that's when I got into it, is when it was going sideways. Because
Yeah.
at first, when we first started the bot, um, we were doing really good when it was going sideways all the time.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
We were trading 50x. It was doing awesome, and then it's like
Yeah.
after that, everything we did terrible.
Man, it took off, and they're like, dude, it changed again. Well, yeah. It keeps changing on us.
So the guy really hasn't give you any kind of time frame on how far he's getting or willing to go, or
No,
on the
no.
AI part.
No, he just kind of I mean he has his own softwares that he develops too, and he also has other clients that he works with.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'll like chime in like, hey, give me an update, what's up going on? It's like, oh yeah, whatever, yeah, and I understand from a programmer's point of view. It's like, hey, sometimes there's big projects where I have to like hunker down for like a couple of days and not do anything but program, and then you have multiple clients, that kind of throws a little wrench in things, and so
He thinks it will work though, huh?
well, I think it'll work. Because if it doesn't work, he's gonna have to fix it.
Yeah. Well, he wouldn't be working on it if he didn't think all this stuff would go together. I would think.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I mean, I gave him the idea of what I wanted,
Mhm.
but like with the chatting stuff, so he's like, "Oh yeah, if you want to do that, you're gonna need a server and kind of like the like Pusher."
Yeah.
So we're basically kind of creating our own Pusher. Uh, that's what he's working on. So that way we're hosting it, and I don't have to pay the monthly, and I store all the data and whatever. And since Headstone's kind of cheap anyway, it's kind of a better deal than to go with Pusher. So and then kind
Oh,
of just
so you're having to send it to your dedicated computer then?
yeah, yeah.
Ah,
So yeah, so he's
nice.
rebuilding Pusher and making all those connections, and that's all I know.
Fun. Hmm.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, this is good chat.
Yeah.
Do you want to do this like once a month or whatever, or once a
Yeah.
week
That's fine.
or
If
something?
more people want to join,
Yeah, it's kind of
just talk about crypto or whatever and
yeah,
what your experiences are.
yeah. Throw some ideas out, and anything new that we come across or whatever.
Yeah. It's not some people can really make it work in their advantage, but
Mhm.
I don't know. Do you know much about Monero coin?
Other than it's like anonymous or something.
Yeah, somebody was saying it's kind of like Bitcoin in a way, like it has the same amount that can only be ever be traded.
Hmm.
I was just curious if that was one that should be a long-term hold or buy or something.
Yeah, I don't really look into it that much. I think there will be a day where just like before when it hit 20K and then crashed down to three, there'll be a reckoning for that too. So yeah, I'm not gonna
That
trade it for now. Hold it, but get out when you need to get out.
I kind of for a while there, I liked that XRP, but then it crashed to about like 15 cents, and I was like, no,
Yeah,
I'm
that's like
done. I'm only the only coins I'm ever gonna hold are probably Bitcoin and Ethereum,
yeah. Yeah, have
and
you looked
that's
at have you looked at XRP lately?
yeah, it's like a dollar something.
Yeah, I'm like how that happen?
Yeah, well,
I
weren't
haven't.
they getting investigated by the Securities and Exchange Commission?
Yeah, and
And now all of a sudden they're
yeah. So I don't know
well,
if
there's
they actually you know what's it called settled or whatever.
a pretty good pump on Bitcoin right now,
Yeah.
three hundred
So
dollars.
$300. Okay.
Not huge, but back in the day that would have been huge.
Yeah. Well,
Now $1,000 like no big deal.
yeah. The $1,000 pumps and dumps, right? Yeah, I need to get my original trap back up and running. I don't know.
Yeah, that is. I think that idea has a lot of good merit, um, especially if we're pumping. But we're going sideways. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't used that in a while. I don't know.
It does have. I think it does have good merit, though. It would work really well if we're pumping a lot. Like only if we knew. you know.
Yeah, it constantly pumps up. It's high volatility will be very good for it.
Well, like that one time you ran on XRP, just it was wow. Remember when you did XRP and
Yeah, that was
I
a
don't
trade about
remember what it
secrets.
was.
That was a
Yeah,
yeah, and I was just buy and sell, buy and sell. That was
you
like
just must have entered at the right time or something. It's like, dang.
yeah, that was around the right time. Uh, and I actually yeah, I think doubled it in like 30 minutes, and then it crashed down after that. So that's the part where I was like, oh, I should have taken that $100 because I tried to get out, but then it still got me in, and I was like $100 negative. I was like, dude, I made 1,000 already. I should have just taken that loss. So And I held on, and I was like, no. So I think I gave pretty much a good portion of that back, and I was like, yeah.
So, and what do you think is the best DCA so far? A 50-50 split or 35 65 split?
Well, depends. I'd say if you're gonna be holding longer, your loss is longer than your DCA. Since I don't, and this new one, since I don't really hold it that long, I'm kind of thinking maybe I just go all in, and if it goes against me 1%, I just take the loss.
I've noticed funding fees have been ridiculous on
Oh yeah,
Bybit lately.
yeah,
I heard, I think I was watching CF's video and he said he had to pay like 20,000 funding fees just
wow,
one night.
wow,
It's like, holy crap.
yeah,
Even if you have, a couple million in there, that's ridiculous.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, because I'm like looking at it, I was like, dude, I made a gain on my long and I'm still negative. I was like, oh, funding fee. So,
Yeah, it seems to only be on longs right now. It's really high. In shorts, you get pretty good amount back,
yeah.
but yeah, what I've found with the DCA right now, like I'm using a 0.043%,
Hmm.
um, and 50/50 is working pretty good because if you ever notice, it won't actually bring down the. I'll show you.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
it's
still
not
doing
on there.
35/65 for now.
Yeah,
50/50, maybe. I don't think I have 50/50 anywhere right now.
yeah. Well, it kind of has to get up to like the level, and then when it starts trading back and forth, that's when it will bring down the DCA.
Yeah, it has to move quite a bit, huh?
Yeah. So you could have. For some reason, it's not letting me share it, my screen. I don't know why.
Turn screen share on. Let's see. What's it saying?
Just don't give me a. I could.
Do you have to request to be a presenter or something, or?
No, I've been doing
Yeah,
it.
you should be
I'll just
presenter.
do a.
There you go. Yeah, you're sharing
It's
now.
just doing the entire screen now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just you're sharing your screen. You just gotta move it out. There you go. You got it.
So, yeah. So like, let's say, so with that low percentage, let's say it's shorted right here. What happens a lot?
Hmm.
Like, it's shorted. Let's say right here.
Uh-huh.
So it won't actually bring your DCA typically because your Excel's so high
Uh-huh.
until it starts doing this, until it hits that Excel.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So it probably DCA probably like right here somewhere.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, and also I've been my record, uh, my Excel record. I've
Hmm.
been running at a half a minute.
Half a minute. Okay.
Yeah, it's been working okay.
Okay.
I've been
And
running them for probably a good 2 weeks.
okay. You say half a minute as far as like in between wait times between the loops.
Well, no, it's
You're talking about the acceleration update.
the recorded time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because we had
Uh,
5 minutes before, and then we moved to one, and you did a half minute. Okay. The velocity acceleration max min record.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you here in a second.
So yeah, so that basically taking the average, you're kind of moving on the average of the max and min.
Yeah, in a way, it kind of helps it because, like on a pump, it's going to be extremely high.
Hmm. So you're a carpenter with all the tools you got back there.
Uh, it's just in case I need
Oh,
it.
okay. That's for engine stuff, right? 'Cause I see a lot of wrenches.
Yeah, there's different wrenches and oops. Can you see my settings?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's like wrenches, saws, um, hammers, whatever you might need.
Hmm.
It's nice to have tools around.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just running like if it's under like 0.7% small price action, I don't even want to get in because you could screw yourself.
Mhm.
And basically, it's looks like I'm only doing between 2 and 3%, or 0.7 to 3%.
Okay.
So because I got it set to zero here. And the most important part, I think, just lately, I've is putting this in,
Okay.
for the different price actions.
Okay.
And then down to the recorded, where's that at? Right here. I'm running this. I had it at 1 minute. I wanted to try it at
Hmm.
half a minute. I don't know if it really is making a huge difference. Uh, maybe, maybe not. Uh, but and having this your custom frequency candle set to 1 minute too.
Okay.
When I first come out with that 5 minute Excel,
Mm.
I had I think this at 5 minutes,
Okay.
which that seemed to work really good when it was just always pumping. But
And that price motion time interval, that's working out for you? That one.
well, I've tried one, I've tried zero. I don't know if it really makes a difference.
Mhm. Yeah, I wasn't sure that makes a difference either. I was like, take it off.
Well, the only thing I kind of sometimes wish is if we had uh, like a separate BTC offset, like for entries versus exits.
Okay. I
But I don't know how easy that is either. Um,
think it's pretty easy. I think.
I don't know. Maybe it might not make a difference. A lot of stuff you've I've had you put in hasn't made a
I
difference,
know.
and
I was
some
like,
has.
I could VWAP and you're not using it.
Yeah. Oh, VWAP. The bot's really not set up. It has to be like set to buy here, sell here,
Mm.
and the bot's really set up to go off price action.
Hmm.
Like there's if you go back in the chart, you can see where there's several times where it's come down VWAP, took right off,
Hmm.
or it come up from the bottom, touch VWAP, just took right back down. It's
Mm.
like a middle point where um uh like I don't know, the different bots want to retest.
Hmm. Mm.
I don't know if it's uh, something to do with bots, or
Mm.
you would think so.
Yeah, I think it was kind of tricky as far as when it touches, like, is it coming down? Is it coming up?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, how do I decide between it's coming down, coming up? And so I think you need another one that's either increasing or decreasing, uh, to kind of decide on that one.
Well, and I think there's merit to it. It's just not as easy as what I thought.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
um, let's see
yeah. I know
here.
what you mean. So I'm like, oh yeah, I think it's a great idea to do this, and then you apply it, and you're like, oh, that wasn't good in practicality. Okay.
Like kind of retest this blue line right here is VWAP. Kind of
Uh-huh.
tested here.
Yeah.
It's testing here, but then pump right up. There's
So
there's
how do
something
you,
to do with it, but
yeah.
you know,
So how do you like
it's
deal with that test? You know.
yeah, that yeah, and it could keep going down too.
So
So
it'll
see, it
trade
kind of
there.
tested here and then took right off. You know,
Uh, no,
it's like, is it going to be bearish or bullish? Nobody knows.
no. So
Actually,
it's the art of deception. It's it wins by deceiving us.
yeah, this last week I've been just drawing trend lines and putting a buy here when it gets close. I just
Mhm.
put a buy right there and let it go.
How do you estimate that line? Do you just kind of guess before it's
I
even
just
formed?
draw a line. Just
Oh,
draw a line from
way
here to
before.
here.
Okay.
And this one even goes back further.
Oh, okay.
I'm just touching them. This is going to be a major trend line. This is going to be a little bit less major.
Hmm.
Like you see here. Then like this area right here, I had you know I did have something like this drawn earlier. Only if I have time. I'm not gonna do it all the time.
Hmm.
So it's kind of in this channel. And when I've been doing it, I've only been using like 15% of my wallet.
Hmm.
That way, like if I set it up and I don't want to watch it, I'll do 15%, and then I'll do like another 15% right at my a couple hundred above my liquidation. That way, I don't have to watch it all day.
Yeah.
But very low amount, not uh, that's one thing. It's been hard to learn this whole time is to not use as much. You know,
Yeah. Do you ever like do patterns and like document the patterns that you see?
the only thing I've ever really played off of, and I've just watched them play out. I never really actually set up off them is Head and Shoulders,
Uh-huh. Okay.
and I usually mainly use the momentum waves for that because they usually come out actually close a lot of times with the momentum waves.
Mm, okay. Yeah, I'll like kind of watch it when I was doing it before. I'll be like, okay, this is dumping. I need to see like 3 to 4 weeks before it returns. So that kind of seems pretty consistent with that. And then if I see a wedge and it's like a descending wedge,
Oh,
then
yeah, I do
it's gonna
that.
dump
Yeah,
down and then it's gonna climb back up.
yep,
Yeah.
I do descending and ascending wedges
Hmm.
because most of the time a descending will break out at the bottom and
Hmm.
ascending will dump.
Yeah. And yeah, and it definitely has some fake outs. Um,
Oh yeah, terrible.
show you my do I have my notes? Oh, my notes. See here. Uh, crypto. Yeah, here. Let me share my other screen here. Yeah, I used to do this stuff. The trifecta hairs and all like back in the day the Wu Tang pumps and just like a
That,
whole new study in itself. The
that's one
descending.
thing I was gonna bring up to you that I don't know if it's viable, but wonder if we should go off of like some kind of hourly thing. Like, let's say the last 5 hours, uh, we're still making a higher high. Maybe we should only buy, and if we're making a lower low, we should only sell.
Lower low, only sell. So, so I would need to come up with another indicator then, huh? Or would trend handle that? Or what do you mean?
Let's see.
You still there? Are you still there? I think I'm having a hard time hearing you. All right, so I can't hear you. It was good talking to you, and yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but we'll try again next time. All right, man. Thanks.